Hello guys, gals and gamers, and welcome back to another video. Before we begin, I would love to remind you guys to please like and subscribe. If we hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, I will do a live stream dissecting the game design behind the most disappointing game I have ever played. And that is gonna be fun. That is just gonna be really fun. And also, if you want, you can comment down below in the comment section down there and say something nice. I love to start a discussion with my videos, and that would also be really appreciated. But yes, that said, I want to talk about Xenoblade today. I have not talked about Xenoblade in like almost a year. Anyway, I personally like Xenoblade Chronicles, especially 2. It's a really fun game, and I wish just it would get more players. And the growth the Xenoblade series has gotten from like the first Wii game is kind of phenomenal. But looking at the game design of the whole series, there are a few things that I feel like are keeping more and more players from truly enjoying this great series. And I know a part of the people on the internet, they don't like the anime aesthetics of Xenoblade 2, and I can kind of get that, the humor is definitely not something Western people will find as humorous as people do in Japan, and it's a very tropey and light-toned compared to the opening of the first game. No one talks about X when comparing those. But there is something I think that is a bit more concerning, and it has to do with the game design of it all. And that is basically the combat system or the battle system, however you want to call it. I want to look at what those things are that keep people from enjoying the battle system and what can be done with it, and what has Xenoblade Chronicles 3 already seemingly done about it. And that's kind of the structure of this video. So let's begin. The first thing I want to say is that I think the battle system itself is really good in all of the games. I think it is good, it is kind of easy to understand, even though the battle systems are, like always, they are a bit complex. They are complex. But once you get into them, they're really fun, there's a lot you can do, and I especially love the battle system in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because it has like a gotcha system. So you have all of these different characters you can try out, and all of them are like really fun and unique. And it's a gotcha game, but it has like no microtransactions, so don't be scared of that. But there is one thing that really sucks in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and all of the other games too, and that is basically the tutorial. The tutorials are awful in Xenoblade games. Basically, even like to the point they are kind of a meme in the community, which is, not a thing you would want. And basically, what these tutorials do wrong is that they are a bit overwhelming to the players. They give information when you don't really need it, and it doesn't make sure you basically learn the information. It just tells you, hey, this is a thing you can do, but it doesn't make sure you learn it. Basically, imagine like the 4-move combo you can do in Xenoblade Chronicles, where you first inflict a status condition called break into an enemy, and then someone has to follow that up with topple, and then launch, and then smash. So you have to do 4 moves in order to do that. There are lots of benefits, enemy restrictions, and you get like a damage increase and lots of damage to do to the enemy, lots of damage. Yes, I can speak words, but it's a really useful combo, and it's something really basic you have to think about when you are dealing with Xenoblade Chronicles combat system. But I don't remember if in any of the games you have like an enemy that you have to do it for. Make sure that the player understands, okay, this is something I want to do. Same with like blade combos with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. make sure that you have like an enemy that is only weak to blade combos. So make sure they actually learned the lesson here. That is what is missing in Xenoblade Chronicles. It's just like gives you the information, but doesn't make sure you learn it. And later on in the game, when it kind of expects you to, know this stuff, it hasn't properly taught you. It's not gonna be fun. It's definitely not gonna be fun. And another thing is that, at least in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm talking a lot about 2 because that's my favorite game in the series and the one I remember the best. So sorry about that. I'm gonna give love to the other games in the franchise later on in this video. But a lot of the tutorials are like in boss battles when you just want to fight. Hey, this is the important character of the story. I really don't like them. I want to kick their ass. But then it's bloop, a tutorial. Hello, did you know you can do this? Blah, blah, blah. I just want to get to the battling, so that's annoying too. And the worst thing of all, the absolute worst thing of all about these tutorials, I have not even gotten to the worst part yet. Can you imagine? Is that there is no way that you can review these tutorials. Like, you cannot see them again at any point. If you clear a tutorial and you have not learned your lesson, or you just did something and the tutorial went away, there is no way for you to check that tutorial again. There's no menus, no like NPC somewhere that tells you this information again. Just no way. And that is ridiculous. That is absolutely like ridiculous. They definitely should have like a way for you to review all of these tutorials. And I have seen some people say that it's not so bad. I got through like most of the game without learning how blade combos work, and eventually I got it by myself, figuring things out. Also, I had a friend who knew everything and I looked up online tutorials. So it wasn't that bad. That is bad. It's kind of like playing through like a Pokemon game. You can play through a Pokemon game and just use like tackle. It's a basic move that your Pokemon has when you get it. So you can pretty clearly go through the entire game with just using that one move, tackle. But it's going to be a bit more difficult. And if you would just teach your Pokemon more moves and learn the type chart, it would be a much easier experience. And that is kind of the thing that Xenoblade is doing. You get the basic mechanics of it, but in order to do like more damage or do some cool strategies, you need to learn how to do these extra things like combos and everything. And that the game just doesn't make sure you learn. So in some cases, it kind of expects you to know the mechanics it hasn't taught you well. So it's a bad thing. That is not all that is wrong with the Xenoblade battle system. There is also the matter of like the UI, the user interface. Especially like in battles, I'm going to be focusing on battles. I know that the Xenoblade UI is not perfect in other ways too, especially the maps. The maps are usually quite horrible, but I'm just going to focus on the battles, okay? And they're not as bad as like the tutorials here, but they are definitely flawed. There are mainly 4 problems with it. First of all is visibility, and you can see it pretty clearly in this, well, you can't see it pretty clearly actually, in this screenshot of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now look at this block of text over here, and imagine this screen being like 5 feet away from you. You're trying to play the game. You can't see anything. The font size is way too small, and there's nothing like in the background to highlight the text. So it's just white text on whatever the background is. It's like way too small. It's bad. You can't read it. Visibility, bad. That is one thing Xenoblade games have gotten wrong. It has gotten better in some games, like here in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Every piece of text has a background with it, so it is easier to see. The font size is a bit better. Still a bit too small for some people, but it is better. It would be nice to have like an option in the menus to change the font size, for example. Next is clutter. A lot of people say that the Xenoblade UI is in the battles, there's just way too much in there, and I kind of get that. Some of the stuff is there is a lot of stuff, and some of that stuff definitely could be cut, like in this screenshot of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You might want to like cut off like the diamonds or the squares right here, and the like the type of weapon you have. I'm not sure if that is necessary information for you, and it's just like small things you might want to reduce, but I think most of the information there is like necessary for you. And like I said, this battle system is complex, so there is definitely stuff you need to see. And you know, sometimes if you have a complex battle system and lots of mechanics you need to take care of, there needs to be a lot of stuff on screen. Just look at like MMOs, like this screenshot right here. There is just a lot you need to know, a lot you have to take care of. But yeah, I can definitely get why a lot of people think there's just clutter in these screens, and this is how bad the Xenoblade UI can get sometimes. There's the override mechanic also from Xenoblade X because of a DLC blade. So that is usually not there. This is happening also during a special attack, so you are not actually playing the game, but this is how cluttered the UI can get sometimes. Also, for the clutter, you can see this, again, this screenshot from Xenoblade 2. You have this like huge mini-map, which is not that useful. You can't really read it well. It's supposed to like show you like enemies nearby, but it doesn't really do that well. So, and it takes like way too much space. So you could definitely get rid of that, and no one would miss it. And lovely it is that they did take it away in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but not in the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So that is a shame. So yeah, there is some elements that are, you know, not necessary there at all. Then there's damage numbers. Next up, we have damage numbers. Back to this screenshot, or if we even left that, I don't know. You can see like the damage numbers being like in a weird place. They are usually like near the enemy, on top of the enemy, somewhere in there. This is not a good way of doing this. You should be able to show or be able to see better like how much damage you do to an enemy, and that is, you know, very useful information if you are like thinking about different strategies and you just can't see the damage you're doing. You can't really think about like, hey, maybe I should try this, because you just might miss like all of the damage that you do and miss out on a good strategy because you just didn't see it happening. So it is a bit weird. They are in a very weird place. I would rather see it like a decreasing health bar where you see the damage you're doing in a quick period of time and then it like goes away. You know that I'll put a video that, you know, explains it in screen, hopefully. And the last one here that I want to talk about is cognitive load. And now this is probably a term you do not understand, but cognitive load is, or memory load, is something often used in game design, and basically means that cognitive load happens when there is too much the player needs to think about. And here, there is a lot on screen, but one way to relieve cognitive load is to put like the buttons that you need to use in this combat system. For example, there up above you see this bar. It is for a chain attack, which is a powerful attack where you do more damage and you can decide what your party members do. You can do a lot of damages in kind of a combo as well. And you would have known by looking at this UI here what you need to do to activate the chain attack, and you need to do it by pressing plus, but you can't see it here. That should be one thing that should be there to just reduce the cognitive load. Of course, you can like memorize it, and it's not a hard thing to memorize it, but it just like clears up some space in your brain when you should be thinking about like strategies and what what to do in this battle moving on from here. Same thing for like the character selection, the blade selection over here, and also for the move selection. You should be able to see like X, A, Y, B, you know, the buttons you need to press to do each attack or select each blade. I think it is fairly obvious because they are in a similar formation as like the buttons are on the Joy-Con controllers, but I think like further clarification would not hurt either. But on the other hand, like this again, this screenshot from Xenoblade X, they do this weird thing where they like list it, like have this text listing all of the things you can do, while it should be like in the UI element itself, you know, showing it what to do. Just like here in Xenoblade 2, when you have like ZL, this character does the burnout attack, you can see. But instead there would be just like a text on a side that says press ZL for blah blah to do a blah blah attack. No, don't do that. Just have it implemented into the UI element itself, basically. So yes, that was a lot ranting about the UI, but let's look at Xenoblade 3 next. And this is a screenshot we recently got of the battle system. And I just want to go over like what kind of things they have done better. And the first thing you can see is plus for chain attack. Yes, you have that. Similar attack and special attack selection things, as in like Xenoblade 2. So okay, they didn't do it better, but it's still the same. I am a bit worried about the visibility. The font size seems a bit smaller than in Xenoblade 2, and also the white text on the bottom of these, like under the names of the attacks. I'm a bit worried if it will be visible in like really bright areas, or if there's like snow on the ground, will it be like that visible for the player, because it is necessary information that you might need to know. There is no huge mini-map taking space. There's just like this new icon that I think represents like how many enemies are you battling against at the moment, which I think it's good. I'm a bit worried about the number of the party members and the icons in there. If the icons are explained somewhere else in like menus, it would be really nice if you could press pause on like the when you are battling against something and look at all of these symbols. What do they mean? And yeah, I'm just a bit worried because there is like 7 party members, I think, max. If you can like keep an eye on who has health and who doesn't and who's doing what, might be a bit too much for average people to keep your eye on, but I'll see how it goes. The game is not out yet, and yeah, that's basically. I do like the visuals. I do like the visuals of these, and it looks cool. And all of the like unnecessary elements, they go away if they are not like relevant. ZL for tactics, hopefully that means like shows you like controls or the symbols, hopefully that's that. And ZR, you can do a fusion as well, is mentioned there, so that is good. Fixes that we still need. The numbers on screen is still an issue, I feel like. And I feel like it might be a good solution to like damage from one attack or one combo to like go up instead of having like multiple numbers from one attack on screen. So it should be just one number going up, so you can better see how much damage you are doing. And the thing with the health bar, I mentioned like a reducing health bar, like first going orange and then the orange going away or something. I'll show it on screen again, hopefully I'll get to that. Ability to increase font size or maybe put a background in there for easily, so it will be easier for you to read everything. Better like signifiers for the attack buttons, like I said. And yeah, all symbols you need should be available for you to see like during combat, like pressing a pause button and looking them up from a menu. But yeah, I feel confident that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 will be a bit more manageable as a battle system. I hope they do really good tutorials. I can't say really much for the tutorials because the game is not out yet. Might make a follow-up video if it's interesting enough for people to listen to my talking about this. But it is really interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have anything to say, let me know in the comments down below. And I have nothing else to say here, so I will just see you guys next time. Bye bye.